John 10:10 tells us that Jesus came so you may have life and have it abundantly, but it's the enemy who comes to steal, kill, and destroy. Well, no more. Today's the day, no more. No more joy being stolen, no more dreams being killed, no more destinies being destroyed. It's time to step into the abundant life that God has created for you to get your right fit. And it begins with renewing your mind through the Word of God. And this is a great place to start. Hey there. Are you a Christian woman who's ready to strengthen your faith and stop the madness in your mind? The worry, doubt, anxiety. Do you want something more for your life but are not sure where to even begin? You've come to the right place. Hi, I'm Kristin Campbell. I'm excited that you're here as we journey together to discover mindset renewal and empowered faith for the Christian woman. Hi, everyone. So glad you joined me today as I share a little bit about how this podcast can serve you. And I just want to see if you can find yourself in any of these following statements. If you're feeling overwhelmed, have a desire to be better, whether that's a better mom, wife, friend, Christian. If you're wanting peace in your mind, in your home, in your body, if you're looking to find balance or find happiness, just to take away that lingering hurt. If you long to feel loved and accepted, not just by others, but by yourself, by God. If you struggle with self-doubt, imposter syndrome, if you're striving, yet never quite meeting that expectation, you feel guilt, shame, or believe you're the problem, stuck in this comparison trap which just plummets you deeper into the hurts. We all carry such heavy burdens, mentally and emotionally, that we aren't even aware that we're carrying them or just how heavy they actually are. It's just who I am, we tell ourselves, and we find ways to quote unquote cope because we have to. We're supposed to. Yet, is this really who you are? Who God created you to be? And friend, if it's heavy, the answer is no. When Jesus tells us in Matthew 11:30 that his yoke is easy and his burden is light, he means it. And I just want to give some quick context because this language isn't something that we're necessarily familiar with in modern times. He's talking to people who would have had these oxen and these fields to plow. And so this yoke is this giant like wooden piece that would connect two ox. It would connect two together, and then like a plow would be connected to that, and these ox would walk in straight lines, and it would like turn up the soil so that they could plant. And just the thought of that, even as I'm explaining it, that wooden, connecting piece, that wooden brace, seems like, how in the world could that be light? Like it doesn't even really make sense until you understand the context of what this is. So when you have the two ox, there is a lead ox. There's a seasoned one. He's the boss. He's in charge. That would be Jesus. And then the second ox is kind of like an ox in training. It's learning how to do this. It's learning how to walk the straight line. It's learning how to get comfortable with this wooden thing on it. It's learning how to kind of like take direction and steer. And what happens is the majority of the weight and the burden is resting on that lead ox because the other ox is still in training. So when Jesus says, join up with me in my yoke because it's easy and the burden is light, what he's saying is, I'm going to take the bulk of the weight of what you're doing and I'm going to lead you and I'm going to teach you and I'm going to show you how to plow this field, how to get through life. And that easy, it's not like this cushy lifestyle that he's promising us. The field still has to get plowed. There's still work that we're going to do. It's just we're not carrying that burden and that heaviness on our own. So if you're feeling that heaviness, you're not in alignment. You're not joined with the Lord. Because when we align with him and when we really bring who we are, who we were created to be, when we bring it into that agreement, into that joining, then it works. It works. We're able to get the job done. And the jobs or the trials and the circumstances that we're going to face in our lives, we were each pre-equipped for. So I wouldn't hook up my dog to the yoke with the ox or like a cat because they're not designed for that field. But whatever we are faced, there's something that God put within us that when we join with him, we're going to succeed. We're going to get through it. We're going to get the job done. And I just think about the time that when my kids were really little and my friend said, I don't know how you can do this, how you can handle like 3 kids. Like I struggled to handle just my one. And, at the time, it didn't feel to be a struggle or a heavy burden. Yes, it was hard. Yes, I was sleep deprived. No, I did not shower very often. But there was this joy that was within me that allowed me to, as tough as it was, enjoy the season and not feel so heavy laden. And it was because God pre-equipped me to handle 3 kids. I don't know if I could handle 4. I don't know that I was pre-equipped for that. But for 3, I was. And when I came into agreement with that season of being a mother to young kids, and when I joined up with him, there was an ease to it. Not that it was easy. Yet, there's other areas where I struggle and I feel that heaviness and I feel that burden because I'm trying to be or to do, again, what isn't alignment with God's plan for my life. I'm trying to be like someone else or do it like someone else is. And in that case, like I think of David, the story of David and Goliath. When he goes out, Saul's like, oh, you need this armor. This armor is the best because it's made for the king. And it's awesome. Top of the line. And David puts on the armor, but it doesn't fit him. It was designed for Saul. It's way too big for David. It's very clunky. It's very heavy. David can't move in it. And it's not that the armor was bad. The armor's great. But the armor was for Saul. It wasn't for David. David got 5 pebbles. And you can look at it and you're going to compare 5 pebbles to this top of the line armor. And you're naturally in your mind going to go, oh yeah, right. Pebbles? Yeah, that's going to work. I mean, you have this armor. That's what should work. But not necessarily. Because it didn't fit him. And how often do we try to put on someone else's armor? And we look at what God gave us as pebbles. It's not going to work. Somebody else's giftings or talents or whatever they have isn't going to fit, and it's going to feel heavy. You're not going to be able to move. You're not going to be able to get the job done. And that's okay. But we want to learn to embrace who God designed us to be. And I'm not sure that's really encouraged enough. There's a lot of this embracing self, but the self that we want may not align with who we were created to be, especially if our mindsets aren't in line with the word. And as much as we cry out, yeah, be you, girl. Let's be authentic. I'm so authentic. Many of us, if we're honest, are still hiding. We are still faking. We are still downplaying who we really are. And man, it takes courage just to step out. It takes a solid understanding of who God is to trust and submit to his design in you. It takes knowing the truth. It takes knowing the word to recognize the lies that we've accepted, whether intentionally or unintentionally, and we have all done it. No judgment. But it takes really knowing the word to recognize the lies. And it takes a community to encourage and stir each other on to good works, to support each other, and recognizing that we all have blind spots. We all have areas in our lives that we need to adjust and get back into alignment. And in Proverbs 27, it says, as iron sharpens iron, so one man or woman sharpens another. So if you're carrying these heavy burdens, if this armor that you're putting on doesn't fit, and you're ready to change, I invite you to join up with Jesus, to take on the lighter yoke, to begin to release the weights that he never intended for you to carry. John 10:10 tells us that Jesus came so you may have life and have it abundantly, but it's the enemy who comes to steal, kill, and destroy. Well, no more. Today's the day, no more. No more joy being stolen, no more dreams being killed, no more destinies being destroyed. It's time to step into the abundant life that God has created for you to get your right fit. And it begins with renewing your mind through the Word of God. And this is a great place to start. Thank you for listening to today's podcast. I hope you walked away a little stronger in your faith and freer in your mind. You are so loved. If you liked this episode, share it with a friend. Leave your ratings and reviews, and engage with me on social media. I'd love to hear from you.